All right, so there are quite a few combinations here, and the key with a puzzle like this is to be organized. We will want to go through trial and error. So we'll try different combinations and then see what works. But also it's important to keep organized. We want to make a table or something visual that can help us keep track of what we've attempted. Maybe think about why that didn't work and then go on to our next attempt, and hopefully we'll get closer to the answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the most common first attempt, and then we're going to think about why that didn't work. So what people usually logically think when they do a puzzle like this is, okay, we'll work with the fastest guy, right? Our fastest guy is the archer who can cross the bridge in just 1 minute. So what that would look like is maybe we'll have the archer and the knight together. So maybe when I'm taking notes about this, when I'm doing my initial calculations, I will work on visually representing this, visually representing my thoughts. So I'll have maybe this guy, the archer will be 1, the knight will be 2, princess 3, and wizard will be 4. That way I can refer to these people as number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, instead of just saying the words each time. It's like when we have an equation and we assign variables to people or objects or things. So what I will have is I will have person 1 and person 2 cross the bridge first. So I'll note that down maybe like this. 1 and 2 cross the bridge, then they get to the other side, and that will take a total of 2 minutes, right? Because they have to cross it at the slowest person's pace. So now I have my knight and my archer. And the princess and the wizard are still left on the other side, right? And this trip, again, that took 2 minutes because we had to go at the slowest person's pace. They have the torch, so I'm going to send one person back. Again, I will work with the fastest person, right? Because it's all about efficiency here. So my fastest person is number 1, the archer. I'll send him back and that will take 1 minute. So I will note that down. I'll note that I'm sending 1 back and that takes just 1 minute. So I'm doing great with time now. I'm only at 3 minutes. Okay, so when the archer goes back, whoops, not the knight too. When the archer goes back, he will pick up the princess. They will go together. So person 1 and person 3, they're going to cross the bridge, get to the other side, and that will take a total of 5 minutes because they have to cross at the slowest person's time. Okay, so this is looking good. So far I'm at 8 minutes, right? 2 plus 1 plus 5. Okay, so my princess is back on the other side, my archer too. I think I'm doing pretty well now. So now, once again, I'm going to send my fastest guy, the archer. He's going to go back, and that will only take 1 minute. And then, when he goes back, he's carrying the torch. Now him and the wizard can cross together. Okay, so when they cross, that will take 10 minutes, right? Because crossing at the wizard's pace. So person 1 and person 4 crossing. You get to the other side, and that takes a total of 10 minutes. Okay, so now everyone made it. Or did they? Let's see how long that took. So 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 10, and unfortunately we're at 19 minutes. So what that means is when the archer and the wizard were crossing at the end, right, the bridge collapsed, and unfortunately we couldn't save everyone. So we didn't do our job very well. Let's think about why that didn't work. When we go through our work here, and again, when we go through this trial and error procedure, we would, to the best practice, we would need to organize this in a table. It can go maybe our elapsed time, our action, the start and the end, and we'd organize this nicely into a table so that the next time we try, we aren't going to repeat any of these mistakes. When I look at my work over here and think about why that didn't work, it doesn't take me long to see that the inefficiency of the two slowest people crossing the bridge to the other side is the problem. Because when the wizard and the princess are crossing the bridge, it took 5 and 10 minutes respectively. And that's already 15 minutes. So that's a problem. It doesn't matter if the archer and the wizard go together, or the knight and the wizard go together, or the princess and the wizard go together. All of that is going to take 10 minutes, right? Because they have to go at the slowest person's time. So just because I'm working with the archer consistently, sending him back and forth, I'm not necessarily doing it at the fastest time. The key here is to realize that sending the two slowest people together is highly efficient, because that will take 10 minutes. Instead of 15 minutes to get both of them across, it's 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to amend my initial calculations just a little bit. So at the start, we sent the archer and the knight across, right? So I still want to do that. And I'll still send person 1 back. So the way that looks, my archer and my knight cross together. And now I'm still going to send the archer back. So I'm still working with this, my initial part of my first attempt, because I like that. I'm just at 3 minutes here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send the princess and the wizard together. So that's person 3 and person 4. Because my logical conclusion after doing this the first time was that it was inefficient to send them separately. So when I'm doing this, it just takes 10 minutes rather than 15 minutes sending them individually. So what I have now is the wizard and the princess making it across, and my archer is still left on the other side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send person 2, the knight, across, and that will just take 2 minutes. So my knight comes across in 2 minutes, and now my highly efficient last step is once again for my knight and my archer to cross, so person 1 and person 2 to cross, and that takes 2 minutes because they're going at the pace of the slowest. Everyone gets across. Again, I have to ask and I have to hope, did they make it? Well, 2 and 1 and 10 and 2 and 2 adds up to be 17 minutes. So just as they crossed, the bridge collapsed and they all made it.